Hello and welcome to Siyasat TV. I'm Sumayya Junaid Ahmed bringing you the news. Here are the headlines.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi gets emotional, teary-eyed while bidding farewell to close friend Ghulam Nabi Azad in Rajya Sabha. Shashi Tharoor and 6 journalists won't be arrested for now, says Supreme Court. Actor-activist Deep Sidhu accused in Red Fort violence gets arrested. 60 lakh COVID-19 vaccination in 24 days, fastest in world, says Health Ministry. Over 19,000 more frontline workers took vaccine in Telangana on Monday. Governor Tamilisai Soundarajan launches Annam Canteen at Raj Bhavan. North Korea further developed nuclear weapon program in 2020, says United Nations. United Kingdom defends AstraZeneca vaccine after South Africa halts rollout.
Let's begin with our top story. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today got emotional and became teary-eyed while delivering his farewell speech for the retiring members of the Rajya Sabha.
The Prime Minister devoted much of its speech to talking about the leader of the opposition in the House, Ghulam Nabi Azad of the Congress. The Prime Minister recalled his friendship with Azad and especially mentioned the incident when he was the Chief Minister of Gujarat and Azad was the head of government in Jammu and Kashmir. The Prime Minister paused for a few moments and sorry before resuming his speech. Saluting Azad, the Prime Minister said, "Power comes and goes in life, but one should learn from him how to digest it." He concluded by saying that whatever Azad does next, the country will benefit from his services.
एयरपोर्ट से उन्होंने मुझे फोन किया और जैसे अपने परिवार के सदस्य की चिंता करें, वैसी चिंता पद, सत्ता जीवन में आती रहती है, लेकिन उसे कैसे पचाना,
Moving on to our next story, the Supreme Court today barred any agency from arresting Congress MP Shashi Tharoor and 6 journalists in the case related to their tweets in connection with the Republic Day tractor rally violence in the New Delhi. The cases will be taken up for hearing 2 weeks later.
While Solicitor General Tushar Mehta, appearing for the Delhi police, opposed any relief and wanted the case to be adjourned to tomorrow. Defence Counsel Kapil Sibal sought an order saying that no coercive action till the Supreme Court takes up the case. All were charged for their tweets under the law related to sedition, promoting of enmity and criminal conspiracy. They had been accused of posting false misleading posts accusing the Delhi police of killing a farmer during the tractor rally in the national capital on Republic Day.
Alright, the Delhi police today said activist Deep Sidhu, accused in violence at the Red Fort complex in Delhi on Republic Day during farmers' tractor rally, had been arrested. The police had announced of Rs 1 lakh reward for leads on Deep Sidhu and 3 other accused.
Deep Sidhu was accused of fueling chaos and clashes when the tractor rally by farmers protesting the centre's 3 agricultural laws went rogue on 26th of January, with protesters defying agreed routes and schedule by forcing their way into Red Fort. Protesters were seen climbing the historic ramparts and placing Sikh religious flag beside clashing with the police in the widely condemned violence. 36-year-old Deep Sidhu had been posting videos on Facebook defending himself even as the team of the Delhi Police Crime Branch hunted for him. The videos were uploaded by his friend abroad. A controversial figure in the farmer protest, Deep Sidhu has been accused by farmer groups of attempting to derail their movement and leading a conspiracy against them.
Moving on, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and US President Joe Biden have committed to working together to achieve their two nations' common goal on global arena.
In the telephonic call yesterday, the first since the new administration was inaugurated at the US Capitol last month, the two leaders agreed to continue close cooperation with number of fields including climate change, terrorism and freedom of navigation. The two leaders will continue to cooperate and promote free and open Indo-Pacific, support freedom of navigation and territorial integrity. They also committed to strengthen the regional architectures through Quad. The Quad, or the Quadrilateral Security Dialogue, is an informal strategic forum of the United States, Japan, Australia and India.
Well, the total number of people who have received the coronavirus vaccine shots till Monday evening has crossed 60 lakh, the Union Health Ministry said, highlighting that India reached the mark in 24 days, the fastest in the world. The United States took 26 days to reach this mark, whereas United Kingdom achieved it in 46 days.
Till Monday evening, 60,35,660 beneficiaries were vaccinated through 1,24,744 sessions. In total, 29 people have been hospitalized so far, in which comprise 0.0005% of the total vaccinations. In 24 hours, a 29-year-old woman, a resident of Srikakulam in Andhra Pradesh, has died. The ministry said none of these deaths have been casually linked with COVID-19 vaccination. No case of serious severe AEFI deaths is attributed to the vaccination till date.
Let us bring you the latest on the COVID figures in the country. India's COVID-19 tally caseload crossed 1.8 crore mark with 9,110 new COVID-19 cases and 78 deaths reported in the past 24 hours. Remember, this is the government data shared by the Health Ministry coming up early this morning. Amid concerns of the third wave, more than 14,016 people successfully fought off the viral disease, taking the overall recoveries to 1,548,521. The country now has 1,847,304 cases and more than 1,55,000 lives lost due to COVID-19, whereas Telangana recorded 149 new COVID-19 cases and 1 fatality. Let's shift our focus to Telangana, where over 19,000 frontline workers in Telangana were administered COVID-19 vaccine on Monday. For the second day, vaccination was conducted across the state for the frontline workers like police personnel, municipal Panchayat Raj institutions, revenue employees and personnel of the Central Police Force.
Out of 51,500 beneficiaries to be vaccinated on Monday, 19,923 or 41% got vaccinated at 584 centers. Director of Health and Family Welfare Dr. G. Srinivasa Rao said 5 cases of minor AEFI adverse effect following immunization were reported on Monday. There was no case of serious severe AEFI. The cumulative number of beneficiaries vaccinated in the state mounted to 2,28,845.
Telangana BJP Chief Bandi Sanjay Kumar threatened to go to the farmhouse of Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao if any harm was done to the people taken away by the police in Suryapet district.
Addressing at BJP OBC Morcha Secretaries meeting held on Monday, he said that CM KCR was trying to protect the land grabbers while party leaders are going there to protect the land of tribals. Further, he asked the leaders of the OBC Morcha to work hard for next 2 years for the party. Former MP Vivek Venkataswamy asked whether the state government has given up its friendly police only for BJP. He criticized the arrest, saying that Dalits and tribals were promised of 3 acres of land, but now their lands are taken away from them. He demanded disclosure of whereabouts of the BJP leaders and cadre arrested by the police.
Governor Tamilisai Soundarajan launched the Raj Bhavan Annam Canteen at the Raj Bhavan Community Hall on Monday. Sri Satya Sai Seva Samitha came forward to provide free nutritious breakfast to school children and workers of the Raj Bhavan in the canteen.
The governor and her husband, eminent nephrologist Dr. P. Soundarajan, personally served the breakfast to the students and sanitation workers and interacted with them. The governor stated that having a nutritious breakfast is vital for physical and academic development of the school-going children.
Telangana is the only state in the country that is giving money as an investment under Raitu Bandhu scheme to farmers, said IT Minister K.T. Rama Rao during his visit to Rajanna Srisela district on Monday.
The minister participated in various developmental activities and inaugurated Raitu Vedika, constructed on his own expenditure in the name of his grandparents at Gambhiraupet Mandal in the district. Speaking on the occasion, Minister K.T. Rama Rao said that Raitu Bandhu introduced in Telangana is inspiration for the Kisan Samman Nidhi scheme introduced by the BJP at the centre. The credit of filling happiness in farmers' life by supplying not only irrigation water but also uninterrupted 24 hours power supply goes to Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao.
Even as the winter appears to have lost its steam in the state, nights in the city have turned colder with the minimum temperatures dropping below normal in the last 1 week. According to Indian Meteorological Department officials, on Monday morning, the minimum temperature recorded in Hyderabad was 15.7 degrees Celsius. The maximum temperature on the Monday was 30.1 degrees Celsius, which is 1 degree below normal.
In fact, February is not considered as a peak month for winters as weather conditions during nights would be moderate. However, weather forecast from TSDPS shows that minimum temperatures can be expected to be in the range of 11 degrees Celsius to 14 degrees Celsius for the next 3 days, while the maximum temperatures could hover around 29 degrees Celsius to 31 degrees Celsius.
Moving on to our international news, according to a United Nations report, North Korea maintained and developed its nuclear and ballistic missile program throughout 2020 in violation of international sanctions, helping funds and its activities with some $300 million stolen through cyber hacks.
The United States State Department spokesperson said that on Monday, administration of President Joe Biden, who took office last month, planned a new approach to North Korea, including a full review with his allies on ongoing pressure options and the potential for the future diplomacy. His predecessor, Donald Trump, had boasted of his ability to work with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, and the two men met 3 times in 2018 and 2019. Their summitry failed to achieve a breakthrough. However, talks collapsed over US calls for Pyongyang give up its nuclear weapon and North Korea's demand for an end to sanctions.
Palestinian factions have begun a national dialogue in the Egyptian capital Cairo on Monday to prepare for the upcoming elections. On the agenda are thorny issues such as judicial and security arrangement for the votes and the fate of the Palestinian voters in Israel-occupied East Jerusalem.
Palestinians plans to hold legislative elections on 22nd of May and presidential polls on 31st of July for the first time in 15 years. 14 Palestinian political groups are taking part in the sessions sponsored by Egypt as it seeks to leverage its regional clout. The talks come on the same day as an emergency Arab League meeting also held in Cairo to discuss Palestinian cause. The two main political factions have been at odds since 2006 elections, which Hamas won in an unexpected landslide. The victory was not recognized by Fatah, leading to bloody clashes the following year and the split in Palestinian governance.
Sudan's Prime Minister Abdullah Hamdok appointed Darfur rebel leader Jibril Ibrahim as finance minister in a cabinet reshuffle on Monday. Hamdok announced his new cabinet, which includes ministers from the Sudan Revolutionary Front and Alliance Armed Group, in a televised news conference in the capital of Khartoum.
The reshuffle comes as Hamdok struggles to push through reforms and secure foreign financing seen as crucial to easing deep economic crisis and bolstering Sudan's transition to democracy. Hamdok, who was appointed following a military-civilian power-sharing deal after the removal of Omar al-Bashir, had led a cabinet technocrats which has had uneasy relationship with the military.
The Oxford AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine prevents death and serious illness and effective against the main variant of the virus in the United Kingdom, a government official has said after South Africa suspended its roll out of shots.
Pointing out that the dominant strain in the United Kingdom were not so-called South African variant, Junior Health Minister Edward told on Monday that the vaccine was highly effective and there was no evidence that it was not preventing hospitalization and severe illness in the country. A day earlier, South Africa halted its plan to roll out Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine after data indicated that it may not give only minimal protection against the mild-moderate infection caused by the country's dominant 501YV2 strain of the coronavirus. The move stroked fears of much longer cat and mouse battle with the pathogen, with the South African government saying it would await advice from the scientists on how best to proceed.
Before we wrap up our bulletin, let's have a look on our headlines.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi gets emotional, teary-eyed while bidding farewell to close friend Ghulam Nabi Azad in Rajya Sabha. Shashi Tharoor and 6 journalists won't be arrested for now, says Supreme Court. Actor-activist Deep Sidhu accused in Red Fort violence gets arrested. 60 lakh COVID-19 vaccination in 24 days, fastest in world, says Health Ministry. Over 19,000 more frontline workers took vaccine in Telangana on Monday. Governor Tamilisai Soundarajan launches Annam Canteen at Raj Bhavan. North Korea further developed nuclear weapon program in 2020, says United Nations. United Kingdom defends AstraZeneca vaccine after South Africa halts rollout.
These were all the updates. More news on the other side. Thank you for your time. For more news, stay tuned to Siyasat TV.